Good. I see you on this thing.
Oh, for you? Oh, awesome.
I know, my first upload.
Good.
I was just about to be like, where's my res light?
Don't worry, we're gonna
Actually,
get them
I
updated.
was meeting with my advisor before I started.
I was like, I was about to be like, this, I'm not going through what happened last year.
Not again.
I
I was like, somebody returned this.
just thought to make that off somewhere.
I mean, technically, so many.
It worked out. I figured it out.
He said, what?
Sahara is the student government, Sahara will come.
I wish I was excited. That was one I was
I was
excited.
gonna say, I'm Robert, I don't know who that is.
Sahara is an athletic center.
Yeah, I remember my old roommate was in elementary school.
She's an athletic.
Yeah.
Normal athletic, right? Not
Yeah, the regular type of
Everybody's there for their.
All right, I call this meeting into order at 4:03 p.m. Roll call. Senator Swanton. Senator Swanton. Senator Hanke.
Here.
Senator Chimizzi. Senator Chimizzi. All right, Senator Ty Shanfer.
T. Schaefer? Is that it for Jaden?
All
Yeah,
right, thank
here.
you.
You're welcome.
Senator Hawk. Senator Hawk. Senator Osmond. Senator Osmond. Senator Nowak.
Hello. No back, please.
Senator Flynn.
Yo.
Senator Hopwood.
Here.
President Stiff.
Present?
Vice President Sawerso.
Here.
Speaker Khan. Here. All right. Now we're gonna move on to our first order of business, which is presentations. We don't have any presentations for this meeting. Moving on to the open forum. Do we have anyone for open forum? All right. I am gonna start with Vice President Johnson.
I try. Thank you very much. Can you want me here or? Here.
Yes.
Good evening. I think I can probably take, is this okay? During the time? Everybody know? That way you can see the new beard. Want you to see? Very nice. I'm Mark Johnson, Vice President, Chief Information Officer here at MSU, a graduate of Minnesota State University Mankato, and I'm delighted to be, I guess, your first open forum speaker this year. How about cool? So, thank you. Thanks for having me today. I have 3 or 4 really interesting things I want to tell you about from our summer. And I'm talking about the technology that we put in place, and I'm going to address a very specific question that's come up with one of these really cool technologies. So, and if I don't cover it well, I'm happy to talk with you later. As you know, we took the FlexSync rooms and we made major improvements to those rooms. They're not completely done, but we added a second microphone in each room so that students could be heard more readily, and we're adding a second monitor as well, so that both students and faculty have a better sense of those people who are not in the room when the FlexSync is used in that way. So that project is very close to completion. Unfortunately, with the chip shortage and all the things that happened, some of the products didn't arrive, or some pieces of the products didn't arrive, but the majority, all the rooms are up and running, and we're continuing to enhance those rooms. We also have, as you've noticed probably, all throughout the MSU website, our chatbot is coming alive and trying to help you out, and help especially prospective students. And we've added much content there to make sure that what you need from a student support standpoint. Ask Stomper is our model of student support that takes from all the different areas and puts it in one place and allows you to find what you need or get the help you need through interactive chat, through video chats, lots of different mechanisms. So that's been enhanced through the summer, and we've deployed it even further into the website to help you find it. We also have a number of live kiosks still around campus, although we're back and staffed in more than one location. So we used to be in Wissing Hall, kind of the center of the classroom areas. We're now also in the lower level of the student union. And by far and away, the most demand for the services has been in the lower level of the student union. Students like it, they're finding us, and they're starting to be able to leverage the services we provide. Nice triangle with our electronic repair and our computer store, all right in one area. So you need some service and support, doesn't matter, come on down, we're there to help you. So that came live this year. We're still thinking it's not quite right as far as we have the kind of the bank approach to customer service, which is don't take my money. And our approach is come and stand next to us and we'll help you. But as we work through the Delta variant and other things, it's going to take us a little time before we have that model working again, which is kind of outstanding by you and supporting you. So those are kind of the really, but the big one we have that we went out to the Board of Trustees, we talked to you about last year, was what we call Mav Pods, and they're all across campus. Good news is they're all across campus. Good news is many of them did come in and they're still being installed. We got 001 off the production line. They're coming from Great Britain, and we're the first ones. We just met with the designer today, the president of the university had a chance to meet him, and they're looking towards us, not only to how these work for us, but to change and modify them and provide other services or other capabilities. So the one challenge that I mentioned early on, every time I presented, and I did present to the Board of Trustees, the highest level folks in our system, I did talk about that these units that we're buying, these first units, are not accessible. Now, here's why they're not accessible. It's not they haven't thought of that, but because they're 24 square inches in size, you cannot be ADA compliant in that size. You have to be bigger than that, and we didn't have space for that. So and by the way, the other thing you have to do is as soon as you're larger, you have to have fire suppression. Anything larger than 24 square foot requires fire suppression. So we have kind of a caught in the middle. But similar to our parking lots and other places, we have designed and will be implementing a number of places, like we have a number of spaces in parking areas, where there's 2 or 3 accessible spaces and a number of other spaces, and 2 or 3 accessible spaces and a number of other spaces. That's the design, and we'll continue to roll those out as soon as those units arrive. And we're also converting existing rooms into these type of spaces, but then those rooms are accessible. We're just turning them into kind of quasi-Mad Pod spaces. So we are working diligently on that, but first we've got to get the ones that we've purchased. We have a very large investment in these. What we are finding, even though I know we are challenged, and I've had this brought to my attention a number of times about the accessibility, and we're very committed to accessibility. In fact, IT itself has an accessibility unit, and we work with the accessibility services people before we made this purchase to come up with a plan that made them accessible, or made this kind of service accessible to all. Our number one thing is we're going to do is make sure the investment we've made and get those up and implemented. What we're finding is students are using them. The minute they're available, the minute the lights are on and you can walk in, you can use them. And in fact, this morning, somebody sent me a text in, before we're finished with them, they're sitting on the floor inside before the furniture is installed and using them. So they're in quite a bit of demand. The concept, by the way, is not that we want you not to go to class. This is a place that if you go to class, you're on campus and you still have an online class, you have a place you don't have to run all the way back to your rest halls. And some people don't have the way to get back and forth between campus and between classes. This is a place where you can go and do that. This is also a place if you need a private study area. This is a place if you need a nap. We even have naps on there, just so you know. We actually have it on there so you can take that idea as an idea. What we're hearing from students is things like, hey, we have a podcast we have to do for our class. I need to develop one. You can use these. These are not soundproof, but they're sound improved. They really are made to do certain things in these spaces. So although I totally agree that we have an issue with accessibility, we had to make some decisions to make sure this project moved forward, and we're moving as quickly as we can to have it develop and implement. And if you're interested, I do have Matt standing by on a call, and he can show you one of the spaces in the, I think it's Wiggly Administration. It's where we started a long time ago, putting things right across from the registration office, and we got a picture. Can you throw that up, Matt?
I don't have a screen sharing capability
Oh.
Okay,
What's a
thank you
really
so
good
much for,
picture?
thank you so much for talking with us today. Unfortunately, we only have, a limited time for
All
the
right.
open forum. I would be more than happy to put you guys on the presentation list for next week. if you guys
Okay,
are-
thank you.
Thank you for sharing this
You betcha.
information.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions for Vice President Johnson? All right, Vice President Sorsel?
Thank you for coming in and speaking and addressing it so promptly. We have been hearing discussion around the accessibility for sure. One thing that I wanted to know was, were there other vendors that you looked at before going with this particular company that maybe could have provided a bigger range of options? And at this point, while we wait for this particular vendor to come up with more accessible options, is there another vendor that we could go with in the meantime?
So the answer to the question is, yes, we looked at many vendors. These are the very first of this particular type of unit, and we bought them from the United Kingdom through the Zoom chat. This was a very unique product. They do have products available for us, and they will ship them as soon as they get them. Right now, if I ordered these same units, we would get them in 2022. So we got ahead of that. The rest of the units are going to be coming from this vendor, and they'll match. And what I was going to have him actually showed those new units and what they do to deal with fire suppression. They actually have a patented way of opening up so water can come in a fire situation, and then that takes care of this problem. Well, there they are. Now so you can see these, and so this vendor did have that, and we have that coming. It's just there's only so much we can get in at any one time, and they also didn't have them available immediately. So we got them as quick. We have them on order, or we're going to have them on order as soon as we can, or as soon as they're available to us. So, and is there other vendors? I'm sure, but we did select this one based on the capabilities it had, and we did know going in that we couldn't do the accessible ones for some period of time. So that's the best we could do. I shouldn't say that's the best we can do. That's the best we did at the time. That's a decision we made. So.
All right, we have another question from Senator Flynn.
Okay.
So I have used the MadPods, the ones set up in, I don't think they might not be fully set up because they're still just kind of sitting there in Armstrong. A couple things I just want to draw your attention to about these. The ventilation in them, while they're good, it does get really hot in there. And I have concerns about the power of the outlets in there. 3 amps might not be enough for most laptops.
All right, well, take your concerns under consideration. We'll definitely try to address them.
But I
As
do
we
love
did
them.
last year, I'll have somebody contact you directly and walk through any of these concerns you have and show you that that's not the case. But I'll be happy to do that. As far as the heating goes, yeah, that's one. I'm not positive about that one. That's brand new. This is the first time we've ever had spaces that have their own ventilation built in. And if it's not good, there may be things we can do to tune those. And we have, like I said, the vendor is actually here and the designer is here today. So I'll kick that back to Matt, see if we can get the word. On the power, that's not an issue, but I'll make sure you get fully documented as to what that is. I know the power we're pulling in, I know how we're wiring that, and I know where it plugs into the wall. And I know that was designed for that purpose. So we're happy to have addressed that for you, absolutely.
Do we have any other questions? Any questions? Any questions? Seeing as no further questions, we're gonna move on to our next speaker for the open forum today, Vice President Welsoff.
Hello, welcome back. It's so good to see those of you who are here in the room, those of you who are still joining us by Zoom. It's exciting to see the campus filling back up. I don't know if y'all were walking around yesterday, or I believe it was Monday when there was music. It's wonderful to see everybody back on campus. So on behalf of Academic Affairs, welcome back. We're glad to see you. I want to remind you of 2 things. You're going to keep hearing this all over again. The masks are why we are able to be here. We're seeing really good compliance on the mask wearing. There are a few incidents that are happening. We are addressing them as they crop up. but please encourage your classmates, your friends to wear these masks, because that's what's keeping us safe. That's what's letting us be back here on campus. The other thing is, if you haven't gotten a vaccine yet, please consider getting a vaccine. They work. I know several people who, if you're worried about breakthrough infection, I know a few people who have gotten sick. The vaccine works. One of them was my 80-year-old mom who has had asthma for 50 years. She recuperated at home, no hospital, no doctor's visits. That's the vaccine working. It keeps her safe, it keeps us safe, it keeps everyone around us safe. I wanted to remind everybody that if you're enrolled in a FlexSync class and you plan to participate in that class by Zoom, please let your instructor know by Friday. The instructor should know where the students will be, whether they're in the classroom or online, before they ever walk into the room. So that is one of the things that we changed this year. It's not as much of a drop-in, drop-out type of situation. That doesn't mean that we won't accommodate if something comes up, if you're ill, if you have childcare issues. But for the most part, we're asking students to commit to a modality by Friday. I also want to let you know that there are a few changes in the Office of the Provost. The first is Brian Martinson is now our Provost. Brian has been at the institution for many years. He is wildly experienced. He is quietly funny. I think you'll really enjoy working with him this year. Dr. Anne Dahlman, who is normally here, since her regrets, she is now not only running global education, she's also the associate provost, and she got called into a meeting. Otherwise, you know she'd be right next to me on the couch today. Timothy Berry joined the institution came back to the institution over the summer. And he is our new interim AVP for Faculty Affairs and Equity Initiatives. He's going to be coordinating a lot of the work that's been happening in a bunch of different places, departments, colleges, helping us create a more coherent, strategic work towards equity and inclusion. Chris Corley over at Library and Learning is now truly a learning hub. So learning communities, Center for Academic Success, MathPass, honors, fellowships, all of that stuff is now co-located, maybe not physically, but at least working together. And so we're really looking forward to opportunities for collaboration between library, the student success, academic success, and then the academic programs. And then finally, I'm still here. I'm still doing all of the stuff I was doing with undergraduate education. Grad level this year. So grad students, look for me. I look forward to working with all of you this year. Go Maps.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Seeing as no further questions, do we have anyone else for the open forum today? Vice President Jones.
Hello, and let me echo the previous speakers. It's great to see you all back here. I am David Jones, your Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment Management. On behalf of the entire university, Dr. Inch, who I know is looking forward to interacting with you some more this year, welcome back. We're excited to start a new year. While my area covers a lot of different things, where I've been spending a lot of my time for the last 18 months has really been focused on the COVID response. And a lot of the good messages that Dr. Velsos has shared with you are ones that I want to reinforce, as well as understand that you may have some questions about the most recent communication that we've shared, and that came out last Wednesday, prior to the start of move-in, if you will, and everything from our chancellor for our entire system, talking about an October 4th requirement that students within select groups would have to report their vaccine status or begin to be part of a weekly testing protocol. It is going to go into motion on October 4th, so with us today being October 25th or August 25th, we do have a little bit of time to figure out some additional details on the tracking and everything. There's really two things I would really want to leave with you related to that. One is any person that has the vaccine should be in the clear. Nothing more you need to worry about or do. Outside of those that have not taken the opportunity to share your vaccine record, through the Medicat system or our electronic medical record system through Student Health. You can upload that at any point on your own time, whether it's a screenshot or whatever the vaccine that you may have had, and load that in the system, and then you should be all set. And so the earlier we can get folks to do that before we get to that October 4th, I think it'll make it smoother for everybody. Prior to that, and coming up here September 8th, the state, our governor of the state of Minnesota put in place a requirement, the same similar requirement for all state employees. Anybody who's working at a location longer than 10 minutes within the state of Minnesota has to report on their vaccine status or be part of a weekly testing program as well. We are still working on the details of that. We are much closer on having that available, obviously with the September 8th deadline to have that in motion for all employees. But we will give you more details on that on both those things and make sure the communication goes out across the campus. But with those two things kind of hanging out there, I understand there may be some immediate questions. Wanted to share some time today and answer any questions you may have.
For students that end up having to do the weekly testing, what will be the method of administering those tests to those students and providing those COVID tests to those students?
Yep. Our plan right now is regarding students who need to be part of the testing protocol, or who choose either to not get the vaccine or choose not to share that they've got the vaccine. That's really the two groups that would be in that particular position. We are in ongoing conversations with the Minnesota Department of Health to continue to provide an on-campus testing option for any of our students or employees that we can have. Right now, we have an inventory, I think just over 300 of those saliva tests that we did last year in the ballroom. Some of you might have taken advantage of those testing. So we're planning on the saliva testing. For those of you who were here last year, you might have taken advantage of the Gander Mountain MDH testing location. That is currently located downtown in the Mayo Clinic Health System Event Center is its full name at this point. It is from Monday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can go down there at no cost to you and do that testing. If somebody wanted to use that as a tool or go to any of our local pharmacies, that is part of the federal testing, so it's still free there. If you go to a local provider, you may have to pay for a copay as part of a visit to a local medical provider. Otherwise, those other options are ones we're having. We will make sure we share that information, but our expectation is we'll be able to have an on-campus option to make it as easy as possible for folks.
Senator Clark?
So I have two questions for you. The first being, my interpretation of the staff requirement means it's not student workers, correct?
No, we're being told it includes student workers.
It does include student workers, okay. The second question I have is about the testing protocol. What if the student fails to adhere to the testing protocol if they choose to do that instead of the proof of vaccination?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I don't have a great answer at this point. It's one of those things we're working out. Our hope is, of course, that we don't find ourselves in that position. And we want to make sure that we're being supportive of any student who wants to achieve their learning objectives during their time here at the university. But knowing that their investment in time is either getting the vaccine or the testing will keep the rest of us safe as well. Our hope is that we probably address that similar we would with some of the masking right now, as kind of a progressive response. But we don't have anything nailed down exactly what we're going to do there.
Thank you.
Next on the speakers list, I have Vice President Constantine.
I like the title, but I like the money that goes along with the title. It's Mark Constantine. I don't need a title at all. So, Mark Constantine, I'm here to say hello to you from the student union, from the student activity staff. It's great to have those that are present here as well as those online. Usually at the beginning of the year, I like to talk to the students just for a second, just to make sure that you know that our staff, both the programming staff, that John Zahn and Greg Wilkins is responsible for, and the operations staff. James Ball is our operations director, and the rest of the staff that does tech and the setups in the room. We're all here for you. I think most of you know, and some of you are new, we like to consider the student union your home away from home. So we want to be here for anything that we can help you with on any time. we might not always be able to make something happen immediately. And we have a student union board that most of you are aware of. Some new people might not know that, but we use the student union board as our sounding board. Administratively, we talk to students, the students talk to us, communicate back and forth, so that we can make the building what the students want it to be and what we can drive together as a university to make it the best possible overall. So I look forward to working with all of you in the student union board. I'll give a shout out like I do at the beginning of the year, and I know this is important for your officers. I work with two really important committees, the student union board and the student allocations committee. So you as senators, those of you that are here and online, really we need to have great students volunteer for some of these committees. And I know, all of you as officers, we have a lot of committees to fill, but if we're going to get up and running, especially the student allocations committee, looking at some programming requests for students and some travel requests, it'd be great to have a group of students to get that started, as soon as we possibly can. And we know it's going to take a few weeks, but you all have fellow students that are out there looking for opportunities, and it's important for you as senators to try to beat the bushes and help us get good students on those committees. We do have a few student union board people because that was part of the elections that are already in, so that's a good start for us, but we also look forward to some of those folks. So again, short and sweet, we welcome you. We really want you to know if there's anything I can do for you at all and my staff, contact us, and we'll work together to try to make this place better, bigger and better for all of us. Stand for any questions you might have.
Do we have any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Thank you for coming in
Thank
today.
you, appreciate it.
Next on the speakers list, I have Mr. Cullen.
Madam Speaker, David Cowan, I'm chairman of the Parking and Transportation Committee, of which several of the student senators have helped us out in the past years. Good news, the $300,000 that you invested in the buses has happened. The buses are rolling and they seem to be filled up. I haven't heard any complaints. This is only, day 3, so I'm sure that they'll be coming down the wire. Another thing that the Student Senate has invested in is trying to put together a program for electric foot scooters. And Senator Novak helped us on that. Thank you, sir. And I haven't heard any complaints about those either because they haven't been on campus yet.
So far, so good.
So far, so good, yes. Sending them to Novak's area when they come in. But we hope within the next 3 weeks we will have at least 50 foot scooters on campus. Bird Rides Incorporated is our vendor. And before that, I hope to have 55 scooter racks next to bicycle racks. So we'll have some place to put these scooters, not on lawns or in front of doorways. So that's what we're hoping for. And Madam President, you should know that as you're concerned about the free lot, we did have registration required this year for our 450 spaces in the free lot, and 900 people have registered. And so what we have found in the last couple of days is a packed house in the early morning hours. So for those who registered, let me send out the notice that if you're not there by 8:15, you're doomed. There's no space. So I wanted you to have the latest information on that. I'll stand for any questions, Madam Speaker.
Do we have any questions? Senator Novak?
What will occur if a person parks in the free lot without having previously registered for a free lot pass?
Well, we have no sanction, as you know, we have no sanction. But they registered anyway. And so it was a voluntary registration and they did it. So for the first time, we'll know how many students, how many employees, how many vendors are in that free lot. We might be able to make some decisions about that in the future.
Do we have any other questions? Senator Flynn.
So the scooters, will there be any of those docks in the parking lots? And has there been consideration for their winter deployment?
Well, let's tackle the first one. The 45 sites, yes, we do have them sprinkled in several parking lots. Coincidentally, very near the free lot. We'll have about 12 parking stations near the free lot. We'll also have parking stations over in Lot 1 and Lot 2, which is the distant parking lots for the residence hall students. We'll have some sprinkled around the buildings, residence hall buildings, even the student union will have some. Your second question was?
If they're gonna be around in the winter as well.
I think we have to look at that. This is the first time through for this. I suspect when the snow flies, it'll be very difficult to keep this program running. The contract allows us to have several months during the winter months where we don't have the foot scooters. We take down the racks, we put the scooters in storage. Scooter rates are $1 to start the engine and 39 cents per minute thereafter. Unless you're in a particular area or time frame, you might get it down to 25 cents per minute. It'll be picked up every night between 10 and 11 at night, and then they'll be repositioned in the racks. If I have the racks, it will be repositioned in the racks around 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning. We'll start out with 50 scooters. We might ramp it up to 150 scooters depending on how the nearby apartment complexes feel about this. We certainly will have scooters in Stadium Heights, and we'll have scooters near the free lot. That's it, Madam Speaker.
Do we have any other questions? Senator
T. Schaefer.
T. Schaefer.
Do they cut out like once you leave campus, or can you take them off campus?
They go up to 15 miles an hour, 15, not 50, 15 miles an hour. And we have a go-slow zone of 12 miles an hour. But right now, until we see that there's a problem, most of the campus core is in a go-slow zone. So we don't want people running over me, walking the campus, and we're going to see, we've been dealing with bikes in the past, we've been dealing with skateboards in the past, we've had very few accidents. We hope that that will continue, that we will have very few altercations with electric foot scooter users. And on the 14th of September, we're going to have a big celebration right out here in the mall. They're going to give away free helmets, up to 150 helmets. The president and the vice president of student government have indicated a willingness to get on these machines and take some for photo ops, I'm sure. They'll be scooting around, trying to get people to vote in the special election, I'm sure.
All right, do we have any other questions? Senator Nowak.
To slightly rephrase a question from Senator T. Schaefer, what occurs if the scooters go outside of the boundary limits of campus? That's, I believe, what you were trying to say.
Yeah.
They are geo-fenced and they will shut down.
Okay.
So I do not, at this point, the city of Mankato, I think, is waiting to see if it is successful up here before they go ahead with a planned ordinance on foot scooters for the city of Mankato. But right now, we're the only game in town. And if we're successful, it may branch out to the entire city. But for those who are thinking a foot scooter go down to the bars, that's not going to happen.
Do we have any other questions? Any questions? Any questions? Seeing as no further questions, thank you so much for coming in and talking with us today. Next on the speakers list, I have Matt Saliva.
Oh,
sorry, did I just?
I don't have anything to say.
All right, sorry about that.
Newsman with nothing to
Sorry
say.
about that. So, before we move on to the next order of business, I would just like to apologize to everyone who I have said the wrong names to. I am gonna do better for next time. Moving on, we have officer reports, President Stiff.
No apology for my title though.
All right, well, thank you everyone for coming to our first meeting. Again, I'm President Rihanna Stiff.
As you can see, it's exciting being back in this room again. I think everyone would agree. It's nice to see everyone's face kinda in person. So as you can see from the look around our table, things are a little bit different this year. So we had an election in the spring. It was very hard to get students engaged during a time when it was hard to kind of have that motivation when everything is online. So with that said, we have another special election coming up September 14th. And so with that, we've already contacted a wide range of students. We have a lot of great prospects. And so in about 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to see this table filled, hopefully. And we can get back to how exciting student government is in person and all the great things that go along with that. So along with my other updates, so over the summer and in the past 2 weeks, many of you probably have seen me at both the President's Retreat and Convocation, speaking about some of the goals student government has for this year alongside the president of the university, Dr. Inch. We've also been laying the groundwork for some of our projects, so some of the off-campus housing initiatives that we'd like to take, some of the student basic needs hub ideas that we have, along with many, many others, including establishing room and board scholarship specific, or room and board specific scholarships to students. We've also been doing a lot of promo with the help of Robert over here and his team. So if you go to the first football game, you might see a video of me and my lovely vice president plugging student government and our upcoming election. We've also been doing some work with the website and making sure that things get up to date. So we still have a little bit more work to do there, but we've been trying to get things back in order and relevant. And lastly, we've been turning looks, I think, with our fashion at every event that we've been at. So prepare for outfit of the day possibly in the future when we host the student government meetings.
Awesome. Do we have any questions for President Stiff? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Seeing as no further questions, we're now going to move on to Vice President Seversal.
Hello, everybody. So I am Kara, Vice President Seversal. Really excited to be back in this capacity. I'm used to sitting in this chair, so this is kind of fun. So the first thing I want to talk about is, yes, obviously this room looks a lot different than how it typically does, but that doesn't mean that we're not still going to get work done until we have a full Senate. Our exec team has already been working around the clock. We have our elections commission that are working constantly, and we expect that all senators here continue to get the work done that we will do even when we have a full Senate. So use this as your drive now to inspire other senators to join the work we're already doing rather than waiting for them to come so we can start. Sounds good? Cool. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was we've had the honor of meeting President Inch a few times, and so far we think he's very lovely. He's funny, he's engaging, he's excited about the things that we are excited about, and from our experiences, he's student-centered. We convinced him to make a TikTok with us, and that was a selling point for me, I'm not gonna lie. It did take some convincing, but it was posted. So I think that's a win. So yeah, we know that throughout the year you guys will get to know him too. But if you see him on campus, go say hi, introduce yourself, and make student government known. So he's not just looking at us. I was going to talk about scooters, but I feel like we've thoroughly covered that. So yeah, if you guys want to help us film some promo videos with scooters once those are on campus, we would love to see it. The next thing is we have really been hustling for recruitment. So our elections commission, shout out to Senator Novak, and the rest of them have been working nonstop, but we need you guys. And so make sure that you are going through your Snapchat, and anyone you know who goes to MSU, send them that link to vote, send them that link for applications, post it on your Instagrams, talk to people in real life, promo it in your classes. Like, you are here to represent, and so make sure that you are representing student government and getting other students involved of what they're capable of. So that's recruitment. The next is the office. We have been redecorating and cleaning and organizing the office. We're trying to move away from the dentist lobby room aesthetic to like a warm, student-focused aesthetic. So if you guys have posters or any pictures, anything you want, let me know. I think it'd be fun. We have lights up. That's kind of fun. Next is social media. We have really been pushing this summer to make our social media also more fun and engaging. And so, we have been filming TikToks. We're gonna do another one after this meeting. I think it'd be fun if we did one with the senators that are here today. But if you wanna help with social media, that would be great, if you have any expertise there. But also make sure that you're promoting our stuff that drives traffic to the page. From Choose-A-Palooza, we got, I think it was 30 new active followers, which is pretty exciting, because those are freshmen who are here, ready to see what we're gonna say every week, so that's exciting. Other thing, we've been going to lots of on-campus events, so we encourage you to do the same and talk about student government while you're there. And finally, I just want to say on behalf of me and President Stiff, we plan to do things a bit differently this year. We plan to shake up some precedent, to approach things a little bit different, bring a little style, a little spice back to student government, and we hope that you guys will join us in that. So, yeah, that's all for me.
Alright, thank you. Do we have any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Seeing as no further questions, we're gonna move on to the next officer report, which is me. Hi, my name is Mankato. I am going to be the speaker for this year. For the report today, just want to talk about a few things. A lot of the things that I was gonna mention has already been covered, so thank you. A little bit would be social media is a great way to approach a lot of new students. We have got so many new followers, freshmen who are really interested, but they're interested to know if every new student comes into college with not being like, they want to be involved, but they don't want to do something which is boring. So we want to make student government fun and effective for the new students. So we're trying our best to make our social media look very interesting and fun. So please repost our post on your stories, share it on your stories, tag student government if you're going to the events. I have been attending several events from like the other hats that I wear on campus, and I've been promoting student government in those events as well. So talk about the opportunities you have, talk about how you can make a difference, just educate students, because a lot of times students feel like becoming a part of student government is overwhelming and something that they probably cannot do in their first or second year. So you want to explain to them how this is not the case. And then other than that, I also wanted to just talk to your friends, your classmates, just promote how being in student government is effective and how they can make a difference. If they're passionate about something, tell them that, yeah, you can make a difference about it, you can talk about it at a higher level if you're a part of student government. That is it for me today. Do we have any questions for me? Any questions? Any questions?
Are we required to dress like how you want to?
Yes, we would appreciate, like Vice President Sursel and President Stiff already mentioned, we want to make student government more fashionable this year. So we have been talking about making some theme days. So if that's the case, we'll always reach out to you when I send out the agenda to tell you about like if we want to do something today, but just normally we want to keep it business casual.
But we don't have an official.
Yeah, not an official dress code. Right, thank you for the questions. Do we have any other questions? Any questions? Any questions? Seeing as no further questions, our next order of business is senator reports. We don't have any senator reports for today. Next, we have vacancies. As mentioned in the agenda, we have got 20 senator vacancies available. I can go through them or not. It's all mentioned in the agenda. There's 20 of those. We are going to have our special election, which will be held on September 14th. Please keep promoting that. We are doing a lot on our social media. Senator Nowick is doing a great job in coming up with the graphics and running the whole election commission. So please support him, promote it on your social media. Our next order of business is new business. We have no new business today. Moving on to the old business, we don't have any old business today. sorry, John, do you have something to say?
Yes, can I just suggest that since this video recording is being made public for people who may not have access to the agenda, could you run through the vacancies so that the other senators may know? That might be helpful.
Sure. Okay, so we have vacancies available, which is, right before the meeting, I also got another email. So now it's not 20, but 21 vacancies available. I was gonna send an email out, but I'll just say it now. First one, we have at-large residence community senator, at-large residence community senator, off-campus senator, off-campus senator, off-campus senator. We've got 7 of those. Then we have allied health and nursing college senator, allied health and nursing college senator, arts and humanities college senator, education college senator, business college senator, graduate studies college senator, graduate studies college senator, science, engineering, and technology college senator, social behavioral sciences college senator, social and behavioral science college senator, student body at large senator. So we've got 21 vacancies available. Again, the special election will be held on September 14th. Please promote this. We have a question from Senator Nowak.
Less of a question, more of just a statement. I would also like to point out that the deadline to announce your candidacy and to put that application in is September 7th. So make sure that if you do know people that are interested in running, that they apply before then.
Thank you. All right, moving on. We were on announcements. Do we have anyone for announcements today? All right, we have John.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Many of you I know, some of you I've seen only on screen, some of you I don't know. But my name is John Woolcock. I serve as an Assistant Director of Student Activities. I wear several different hats on campus, and one of them is serving as the advisor to student government. So you will see me at most, if not all, of these meetings. I'll meet regularly with the leadership team, and I try to be kind of behind the scenes, really. So because this is about you, and I'm here to support that. So one of the things I just want to let you know is that as you take on projects or you come up with priorities or things that you want to work on and you have questions, I'm very much there to serve as a resource to help point you in the right direction. It could be anything about answering like factual questions to giving you advice on how to tackle a sensitive situation or something like that. So I tend to be pretty direct and honest, and we'll work with you on those priorities. I wanted to mention what student government is a sponsor of what has become known on campus as the Game Day shirt. It's a shirt that is distributed free to all new students at the Backyard Bash. So the first distribution happened last Friday. The next distribution of that shirt takes place at the first home football game. So, and student government has typically helped with that distribution. So I shared information about that with your leadership team. They'll be looking for volunteers to help at that first home football game next Thursday night to distribute those t-shirts and get them out to students. So please look for information from them about that. They'll be looking for folks to staff that. I'm going to put on my other hat right now. I serve as an advisor to fraternity and sorority life on campus as well, and we are in the, like student government, we're in the thick of recruitment season. So there is an event tonight from 6:45 to 8 in the CSU ballroom. There's a fraternity meet and greet for men who may be interested in joining fraternities. The sorority social for potentially interested women who may want to join a sorority is taking place from 8 to 10. Right next door in CSU 253, 4, and 5. So if there's interest, that is available. The formal recruitment process for both fraternities and sororities starts tomorrow and runs through this weekend. And then there will also be opportunities to join in an informal manner. So, and for those wondering, the other hat I wear as I serve as the coordinator for the off-campus housing program. I work with property managers, neighborhood associations, city staff, things like that. I help work with students who are living off campus on their housing concerns. Everything from legal issues to mediating roommate conflicts, so a little bit of everything. So again, something else I can help with. But know that I'll be here for most of these meetings and will serve as a resource to help you accomplish your goals.
Thank you, John. Do we have any questions for John today? Any questions? Any questions? anything?
If I may real quick, as a sponsor of the t-shirt, all senators, of course, get one of them. So if you would like to come down to student activities with me after this, I can get you one of those, so.
All right, our last order of business today is roll call, so we're gonna get started. Senator Swankett. Senator Swankett.
Here.
Senator Hanke. Senator Tishander.
Here, T-Shaper.
Senator Osman. Senator Osman. Senator Nowak.
Howdy.
Senator Flynn.
Yeet.
Senator Hopwood.
Here.
President Stiff. Here. Vice President Saverso.
Here.
Speaker Khan. Here. I adjourned this meeting today at 4:51 p.m.
Fastest roll call.
Yeah.
Ever
So
gonna happen.
I know.
So